Hi, everybody, and happy Friday, and welcome to this week's live onboarding and device setup. I'm Tim from Ledger. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to set up a Nano S Plus. I believe last week I did a Nano X, so I try to kind of switch it around. Even though the setup process is pretty much exactly the same for both devices, I like to switch it just in case, to show some different products. Cool, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into this. So let me go ahead and switch to the other view. All right, cool. I'll switch this up so you can still see me, and you can also see what I'm doing down here in the camera. Okay, cool. So let's just go ahead and unbox this thing. Full disclosure, this is actually, I say this every week, but I like to repeat myself. This is one that we have set up in the past. So you see there's no plastic on it. There's no, it's just a normal box. And also when we get inside, you'll notice that there's less recovery sheets, and I'll get to that in a minute. But let's go with the device unboxing. So it's going to be pretty similar if you have the Nano X, although it may look a little bit different. But basically, you're going to have your device. We'll put that to the side. The Nano S Plus box, you have your recovery sheets in these this orange envelope right here. And then we're going to go ahead and pull it off. We're going to open this up. Then you have this pink envelope here for the Nano S Plus. And you've got, some stuff in here. Yeah, so basically just some do's and don'ts, how to get started, some stickers, how to care for your device. Good information. If you're new to the product, definitely check this stuff out. For us, we're going to go ahead and just rebox it and try to keep it in as pristine condition as possible so we can reuse it in the future. All right, let me go ahead and do this. I'll put this back in the box like that. Put this to the side. This is all we're going to be needing now from here on out. Okay, so you'll see I have Ledger Live pulled up on the screen. So part of when you first start, let me open that box again for you to show you. It's all over the place, but it's also right here. Let me lift that up for you so you can see it. Ledger.com/start. That's basically where you go to get started. So I can just kind of show you what that'll look like. I already installed Ledger Live just because you guys don't have to wait for me to actually install it. But if you go to ledger.com/start, then that will let you download the application, install it on your computer. And keep in mind that Ledger Live does require, I believe, Windows 10 or above, or Mac OS version 10.14 or above, or Linux Ubuntu 20.01, I believe. Are the system requirements for Ledger Live. So if you are on anything other than that operating system, or if you are on a outdated operating system such as Windows 7 or Windows 8 or Mac OS prior to that, then make sure to get updated on your OS because you won't be able to install Ledger Live, and you really can't do much without Ledger Live, as you'll see here pretty soon. All right, cool. So we got Ledger Live installed. My normal go-to is to kind of like go through the whole setup process like on my own and then skip it in Ledger Live. But every once in a while, I do like to go through the Ledger Live process for getting started. That way, I can kind of like walk through it and for myself stay up to date on changes because they are, our application developers, make tweaks and upgrades and changes to it. But also just so that you guys can see that process as well. So let's go ahead and do that. So we've already unboxed our Nano S Plus. We got it sitting here. We got our recovery sheets that we're going to need, which I'm going to go into lots of detail on here shortly on how important these things are. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, we have a Nano S Plus that we would like to set up today. First time using it, yes, this is a brand new device. Brand new as in it's been factory reset and it currently does not have a recovery phrase saved in its memory. So for all intents and purposes, this is a brand new device. So we'll go ahead and set up a new Nano S Plus. Right here, you've got these, we get you some basics right here, just kind of giving you this. It's really easy to kind of just exit out of this right here, but I do recommend reading through these because they are important and it is good information. So your crypto assets are stored on the blockchain. You need a private key to access and manage them. Okay, so that's basics one. Own your private key. Your private key is stored within your Nano. You must be the only one to own it to be in control of your money. And so we're going to get more in depth on what that means and what your private key actually is. Hey, how's it going? Technically Bullish and Linwood Jones. Actually, I've seen you guys a couple times in previous live streams. Welcome. Um, we should have some mods in the chat as well, everyone. So if you're here and you do have questions that maybe I didn't cover in the Wednesday live stream Ask Me Anything series, feel free to drop those questions, and our mods will do their best to kind of get answers for you while I go through this whole spiel right now with the setup of the device. However, if you are here to watch the setup of the device, please just continue watching. Okay, cool. So yeah, so we're gonna get more detail on that. Stay offline. Your Nano works as cold storage wallet. This means that it never exposes your private keys online, even when using the app. So that's a really important thing to keep in mind, and we're going to go more into depth on that as well. But just kind of planting these seeds right now and getting these ideas across. So Ledger Live allows you to buy, sell, manage, exchange, and earn crypto while remaining protected. You will validate every crypto transaction with your Nano. Very, very important. Nothing can happen in Ledger Live or with your Nano without your permission. You have to actually physically authorize every action that happens in regards to your crypto before it can happen. Otherwise, it cannot happen. Okay, let's do it. Let's set it up. All right. Sweet. Plan for 30 minutes. I bet we can do it quicker than that, but let's go ahead and get ready. So this is actually really important. These steps right here. It says stay alone and choose a safe and quiet environment. That one in particular, like, I'll just move on and I'll explain as I go because I think it'll make more sense. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here. All right, cool. So let's just go ahead and do this. So we're going to go ahead and plug in our Nano. Hold it up for you guys so you can see. Okay. So welcome to Ledger Nano S Plus. I don't know if you can read that screen. It's kind of hit or miss sometimes with this little webcam and the glare. Get it at just the right angle. So this is going to tell you kind of how to navigate on the device. So you have two buttons. Every device has two buttons. It may look a little different if you have the Nano X and you have a button here and a button here. But on the Nano S Plus, the buttons are on the top rail right here. So press right to go to the right and left to go to the left. You can see it's switching back and forth right there. And then to make a selection, you are going to press both buttons quickly, simultaneously. So just a tap both buttons to make a selection. That's what it's saying right there. Hold both buttons anytime to get to the control center. We're going to get more into that later after we set up the device. I'll show you how that works. Start Ledger Live. We've already done that. And then now we have these two options here. We've got set up as a new device, and we've got restore from recovery phrase. So if you are trying to create a backup of a previous Nano that you already have accounts in Ledger Live, you already have crypto accounts, you already have a seed phrase, and you want just another key to be able to sign transactions. Like for instance, maybe you want to give your significant other or your children or whoever, a loved one, access to your crypto accounts as well or whatever, or if you just want a backup device, then you can choose this option right here to restore from recovery phrase, and you can import your recovery phrase that you already have into any Nano, and then you can instantly access all the same accounts with it. So think about it like creating a copy of your key, a copy of the key to your vault. So for today, though, we want to set up as a new device. We're doing a full onboarding device setup. So we want to set this thing up as a new device. We want to generate our own unique recovery phrase. So I'm going to go ahead and double tap both buttons right here to select that option. All right. So the first step is to set up a PIN. Your PIN can be between 4 and 8 digits in length. I definitely recommend making it as hard to guess as possible. It's preferably up to 8 digits in length. However, there is a really cool security feature with the Nano where if someone steals it and tries to access it and guess your PIN over and over again, the device is going to factory reset after 3 invalid PIN attempts. So like it's almost impossible for someone to actually steal your Nano and try to physically break into it by guessing your PIN. Like especially if you have a complex PIN, 8 digits in length, there's really no way anybody's going to guess that within 3 attempts. And to be fair, there's really no way anybody will guess a 4-digit PIN within 3 attempts unless it's something obvious like 1, 2, 3, 4 or something like that. So make sure you have a PIN that's not easy to guess, and you won't have to worry about that scenario at all. However, I'm going to go ahead and just make this one nice and easy. I'm going to do 1, 1, 1, 1. Just in case the device locks on me and I have to reopen it up during this presentation. That way I don't have to put in some long, complex PIN. However, if I was setting this device up for myself, you better believe I would have a really complex PIN. Okay, so one other thing. So you have to confirm your PIN after you set it. One other thing I'd like to show you that's kind of cool. Another security feature is, man, it's kind of blurry and like glary and not great. I mean, hopefully you can see it. If not, I'll just kind of talk my way through this. So basically, there's a little like underscore underneath the number that's selected. Maybe you can see it moving if I'm clicking like this. So I'm going to select the 1, and then it jumps to the 3. I got to go back to the 1, and then it stays on the 1. I select 1 again, and then jump back to the 3. And then I go back to the 1, and then it goes to check mark. Let's go back. Oh, well, I just accidentally confirmed that by pressing both buttons. However, that is another security feature of the Nano, where the underscore of what number is selected when entering your PIN, it's going to jump around at random. Every time you enter a number, it's going to randomly jump somewhere else. And without any rhyme or reason. So it's really to prevent someone that's like sitting across the room from you or sitting next to you from like, you know, eyeballing and trying to count your button clicks. Because if the underscore always started at 0, someone could pretty easily do that just by observing your button clicks. So that prevents that from happening. All right, cool. So then now the device is telling us that it's about to generate a 24-word recovery phrase. This is the most important part of this entire process. And I'm going to go on a spiel. If any of you have been here in my previous live streams, you'll know that I like to go on spiels. So I'm going to go on a spiel about recovery phrases here in a minute. I'm telling you to write it down. We have recovery sheets right here. Keep it offline and press both buttons to continue. So I'm going to go ahead and press both buttons, and it'll immediately go in and give me the first word, afraid. So real quick, I'm going to set this down. And I am going to briefly talk to you about recovery phrases. And I'm going to pull out this recovery sheet. We're going to be using this here in a minute. Let me switch back to the main camera. Okay, so your recovery phrase, I mentioned a few minutes ago that it's the most important part of this entire process. For those of you, I know I have some people in the chat here that have been through other live streams. They're probably already aware of this, most of you, but if there's anybody in the chat that is new to the space, is new to hardware wallets, this is the most valuable information that you can get about how you can keep your assets safe with cold storage. So basically, we're going to derive this recovery phrase on this Nano. It's going to be at random. This recovery phrase then gets saved in the memory of the Nano on the secure element chip, and then it cannot be extracted. It cannot be brute forced. It can't be hacked. However, and so it'll let you plug your Nano in and sign transactions securely, even outside of Ledger Live, which there's really cool opportunities and features available for Nano owners where you can connect your ledger all across Web3 basically through other dApps and stuff. It's extremely versatile. And it'll let you do this without ever sharing your private keys. It'll always keep your private keys offline. And now, the reason that's important is because if anyone were to ever get their hands on these 24 words that are about to be generated from here, that person would immediately be able to access all the same crypto. At that point, your Nano would be basically useless. It can no longer protect the information that it has stored in its memory because that information has been leaked somewhere else. And so some really common ways that this can happen is people, you'll write down your recovery phrase on the sheet and then pull out your phone, snap a picture of it, and then save that to your phone. It's like, okay, cool. Got it in my phone. I'm good to go. Well, it doesn't happen often, but phones are connected to the internet, meaning that they are vulnerable to hacks. They're vulnerable to outside sources. They're not a perfectly secure device. They're pretty secure, to be honest, but they're not infallible. And so if you're planning on moving a good amount of your net worth or just money you don't want to lose into crypto and hold on your cold storage device, you don't want to take any chances. Don't take a photo of it. Don't save the words in any digital format at all. Like, don't put it in a password manager. Do not put it in a notes application, nothing. And certainly, if anybody ever asks you for these words, like even a ledger support agent or someone you're talking to on social media, I'm going to tell you right now, they're not ledger support. Nobody will ever ask you for your recovery phrase unless they're trying to steal your assets. Even for obscure things like, oh yeah, entering your recovery phrase into this secure channel application so that you can back up your accounts or something. These are all scams, every single one of them. You never need to give anyone your recovery phrase for any reason, not while using a ledger. So keep that in mind. So what you want to do is you want to write these words down. You can keep them on a piece of paper. It's fine. It's not the best place to store, words because it's susceptible to, natural disasters, fires, floods. There are other solutions for that. But the main key takeaway is to not have your words anywhere where anybody can ever access them. So like preferably like in a safe or a lockbox or perhaps a safety deposit box, whatever makes most sense for you and your situation, but make sure to keep them offline. Okay. All right. You've heard the spiel. There it is. I'm going to go ahead and continue with the process, and I'll try not to beat you over the head so much with this moving forward. It's just that we have to help people that lose their recovery phrase all the time, and it's a really difficult situation to be in because there's really not much that can be done about it. And so the best way to protect yourself is just to go into it with that knowledge beforehand, and then you know how to keep yourself safe, and there'll be no surprises. All right, let me switch back to the other view. Cool. All right, we are writing down our words. I think I may have actually gotten ahead of myself on Ledger Live. So let's go next step. We already set the PIN code. Yep. We did that. We confirmed the PIN code. All right. This is giving us some good stuff. Don't use easy PIN codes. Yep. All the stuff I just said. So much for using Ledger Live to walk us through this. All right, so now we're on the recovery phrase part. And right here, I understand that if I lose my recovery phrase, I will not be able to access my crypto in case I lose access to my nano. So that's very important. Do not lose these words. If you do lose these words, and your recovery phrase is still saved inside your nano, then you'll still be able to sign transactions, but you will not be able, and so you can be able to move it, but you won't be able to get your recovery phrase. So at that point, you would have to generate a new recovery phrase. So let me go ahead and, okay, cool. It doesn't ask me for my PIN because it's not fully set up yet. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna start writing down these words. And it's kind of hard to multitask during this process, to be honest, so I'll do my best. But I'll talk about where the words come from a little bit. All right, cool. Let me get a better view. There we go. First word is afraid. Make sure that you try to write them down as legibly as possible. This is not the best pen. Okay. Keep in mind, as I'm writing these words down, third word is stool. Notice how the recovery sheet is numbered 1, 2, 3, top to bottom, left to right in these rows, or columns, I should say. Keep in mind that if I were to accidentally write the words down in the incorrect order from left to right, top to bottom, then maybe I would not be able to access the funds if I tried to go back like years later to recover my assets and I saw that they were numbered this way and I forgot that I wrote them down incorrectly. That could be a bad situation, like a permanent loss of funds, unless you're able to remember that you did that. So make sure you write them down in the correct order and as neatly as possible so that you can't accidentally maybe confuse them for another word. And I will give you an example of that here in a minute. Let's see what words it gives us, though. Jump for 7. Road. Address. Marine. Noise. Frequent. Field. Cool. All right, I'm getting towards the end here. So maybe some of you are probably wondering, like, okay, cool, this device is giving me these words. It is the ultimate backup to all my crypto. These weird, mysterious 24 words that were generated at random by this little device. Like, what does that mean? Like, where did these words come from, and how are they backing up my crypto? Those are all very good questions. We get them a lot, so I'll just go ahead and do my best to answer them. So basically, these words all come from the same list of 2,048 total possible words. All recovery phrases are generated from that list of words. So there are only 2,048 total possible words that can derive any recovery phrase. And this is known as the BIP 39 word list. And so now this device has access to this information, and it also has a random RNG, random number generator, a random. I don't know too much about that. But I actually have other colleagues that like know way more about the randomness of these devices. But just know that these devices are able to derive words from that list with true randomness to give you your own unique list. And so basically, since there's 2,048 total possibilities, with 24 placeholders, like it's not quite 2048 to the power of 24, because there are some combinations that are required, and the 24th word right now, custom, that I'm on, actually acts as a checksum to verify the previous 23 words. So it's not exact math, but even it's pretty close to that. And if you try to do that, it's an outrageous amount of possibilities. It's like I mean, normal calculators can't even do that calculation. You have to like go online and get like a special graphing calculator to even be able to like show it. But it's like, over 100 zeros, and it's like I think I heard someone say it's like more atoms than there are in the known universe or something. Like the number is so big, it's so crazy. And so the way that works is like it's not all the account addresses from the BIP 39 word list, all possibilities technically already exist. So when you derive your specific recovery phrase with your 24 words, this is just basically minting a key to a crypto vault that technically already existed, but now you're the only one that has that key, because you're the only one that has these words in this order from this massive list of words that it could possibly be. And so the idea of somebody like randomly guessing your recovery phrase is like pretty much impossible. The word impossible is appropriate here, but technically it's so improbable that it may as well be impossible. And even if you have a supercomputer that's randomly generating like recovery phrases over and over again, it would take billions of years for it to like go through and actually derive every single recovery phrase. So that's basically the idea of how that works, and how the your words are unique. Okay, so I think I talked about that enough. Let me go ahead. So right now at this point, we've derived all 24 of our words. We have from the device. So we can scroll to the left and make sure we wrote them all down correctly. I definitely recommend to do that, just in case. But pressing both buttons from here, it's going to force you to confirm them anyway. So we'll press both buttons again, and then we're going to go through, and it makes it pretty easy. It actually started on afraid, but like it just gives you some random words you see. So it gives you like 3 random words. You just choose the one that it is. So basically, afraid is the first word. The second word is document. So I just find document, and then stool. And then this just basically just makes sure that you wrote them down correctly. It's not supposed to be like a too brutal of a process. It's just to make sure it's correct, because if anything does happen, if you do write them down incorrectly and there was no process for verifying, then we would see a lot more people that assume they had it written down correctly and then experience permanent loss of funds. So we just do our best to make sure that the user is writing down their words correctly. Very important. Getting through it. Done here. All right, there we go. Recovery phrase is set. Keep it in a secure place. So at this point, ideally, we would take this and then put it right into a like our safe or wherever it is that is the most safe place for you in your situation to store it, where you think it's the least likely that someone will be able to get their hands on it and where it'll stay protected. So wherever that is for you, it's going to be different for everyone depending on where they live and what resources they have access to. So just use your best judgment and keep that thing safe. Cool. Scroll to the right. If it's lost, stolen, or forgotten, your assets will be lost. Technically not, well, so if it's stolen, then almost certainly, because if it's stolen, then that person would probably certainly use it to steal your assets. But if you lose your recovery phrase sheet, and if you, in any way, like maybe you like have it out on your table and you spill your coffee on it or something, or like you will still be able to sign transactions from your Nano, as long as that Nano hasn't been reset and still has that recovery phrase in its memory. But you will not be able to back up your Nano if it gets reset at that point. So this is the backup to your, this is basically the master key to your crypto vaults, and your Nanos are copies of your key, secure copies of your key. That's the way I always try to think about it, to conceptualize it in my head. Okay. Never share it with anyone. Ledger support will never ask for it. Press both buttons to continue. Processing. Device is ready. Sweet. All right, we're going to go to the dashboard. That's one other step when you're setting up your device. Make sure it says device is ready. Make sure you actually go to the dashboard. Oof. And then you'll see here, it'll bring you to the dashboard where you have install app and control center. They'll be the only two icons when setting up a new Nano. So we mentioned the control center earlier. So to access the control center, if I were to just quickly tap and select this widget right here, all it's going to do is tell me to hold both buttons to access the control center. It's going to tell me how to do it, and it's going to let me go back to dashboard. So we actually get quite a few tickets about this. Like people are like, "Hey, yeah, I just set up my Nano. All is good, but when I try to go to the control center to mess with the settings, the only option is to go back to the dashboard." And so that's what's happening is they're trying to select that widget. But honestly, it's better than just having a blank screen with no instructions. So I think about these widgets right here as just being like instructions. So I'm going to hold both buttons right down, and then it actually takes you to the control center where you have the settings. You can go in there and you can mess with the settings. Yeah, excellent. Exited control center. And then you can close the control center. That's pretty much all you can do. You can lock the device. You can't do too much on the Nano S Plus because it doesn't have Bluetooth. And this is how you would access your Bluetooth settings on the Nano X. So we're just going to close the control center. All right, cool. So we can set that down now. Let's go back to Ledger Live. We did that. We got ahead of myself again. We confirmed it. We repeated that for all the words. We are good to go. It's giving us additional information, kind of like a mini spiel of what I just blasted you guys with, but definitely good to read through this stuff. Good to hammer this stuff into your heads. All right, yep, hide it. Don't share it with anybody. Keep it a secret. Secret recovery phrase. Okay. Nice. Yeah, there are a lot of warnings here. This is awesome. This is how it should be when setting up a Nano. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, why not? Let's take the quiz. All right. As a Ledger user, my crypto is stored on my Nano or on the blockchain. The correct answer here is on the blockchain. No crypto is ever actually stored on your Nano. Remember, your Nano is just a key to your crypto vaults that exist on the blockchain. And the key, the true key, is actually the recovery phrase stored inside this Nano. Yes. But your actual crypto is only exists on the blockchain. All right. If my recovery phrase is no longer secure or private, No problem. Ledger can send me a copy. My crypto is no longer safe and I need to transfer them to a secure place. That is absolutely true right there. All right. When I connect my Nano to the Ledger app, my private key is still offline or briefly connected to the internet. Your private key never connects to the internet, not while using a Ledger device. Not the secure element chip, and the software does not allow the private key to ever be shared with the internet. So it's still offline. All right, cool. Let's go to the next step. Let's do our genuine check. All right. Sweet. So genuine check right now, what's happening is Ledger Live wants to establish a secure connection with our Nano, which of course we have to authorize. Ledger Live is not able to do this without the user's authorization, because this is going to actually allow Ledger Live to check that the operating system and the software in this device is genuine, and the hardware. And so if it's been tampered with, if in any way, then right now this Nano would fail the genuine check, and it would be impossible to install Nano apps. It would be impossible to send crypto onto it. It'd be impossible for anything bad to happen, which is why you never hear stories about people receiving a hacked Nano that caused them to lose funds. No legitimate stories about that, because it really just can't happen. You can't get past this point if you have a Nano that's been tampered with. So we're gonna. My spiel took too long. Let's retry that. All right, we have to go back and we have to try again. Let's go back here. Let's deny that. Let's check our Nano. All right, there we go. It timed out on us. Let's allow the Ledger Manager. It's a pretty quick process. It doesn't take long for it to verify. All right, cool. All good. This Nano has not been tampered with. We're going to go ahead and continue. And now keep in mind, this genuine check, it has to be done here when initially setting up, but it also has to be done anytime you connect to the My Ledger tab down here. We just did it, so we don't have to do it again. But if I were to disconnect this Nano, break the connection, and then reconnect it, we would have to do the genuine check again to access the My Ledger tab. And now remember, the My Ledger tab is the only place you can go to install Nano apps, which is required to create an account. So let's do that. Let's make an Ethereum account real quick. So we want to make an Ethereum account on the Ethereum blockchain. So to do that, we have the recovery phrase, so we are able to derive account addresses for pretty much any blockchain. However, this Nano does not yet have the software and the tools it needs to interact specifically with the Ethereum blockchain. It needs to know what derivation path to use. It needs to know all sorts of stuff in order to be able to create an account on Ethereum specifically. So we're going to give them that tools. We're going to give our Nano those tools. We're going to install the Nano app. Okay. So now we have the Nano app installed, and you can see there's actually a little icon now, a little Ethereum icon right there on the screen of the Nano. And so now we can actually add an account. So now our Nano knows how to do it, and it wants us to open up the Ethereum app so we can access those tools I was talking about. All right. Oh, look at that. Update Nano firmware. It wants us to update the firmware. I kind of knew this was going to happen. So see this big glaring orange banner at the top right here? That is letting us know that we have a firmware update for our Nano S Plus. So let's go ahead and install this firmware update, just so you can see what this looks like. All right. Okay. So we got this little pop-up right here. It's going to tell us what's new on the firmware update 1.1.0. It's going to redesign the pin scheme, so it's going to look a little bit different. Oh, this is a good one. This one adds support for French and Spanish. So that's awesome. So that's the main update for this firmware update. So if you have an Nano S Plus, definitely get updated to 1.1.0 if you haven't already, especially if you're a Spanish or French speaker. I guess, really, if you're a Spanish or French speaker, it's very important to do that. All right, so we'll continue. Like it's processing. All right, new firmware. Let's confirm it. So again, everything has to be confirmed from your Nano, even firmware updates. At this point, we could cancel the update if we wanted to by selecting cancel update. But let's confirm it. I want this update. I want to be able to toggle between Spanish and French. And I also want to be able to create accounts and sign transactions. And if you don't update your firmware, then that becomes difficult, as you just saw. All right, cool. So we're going to put in my super unsecure PIN, which is 1111. Okay, perfect. And so since we just updated the firmware, you see that there are no apps since that the Ethereum app is not installed, but you can reinstall all your apps by clicking this button right here in Ledger Live. And then allow secure connection with Ledger. Again, it needs your permission to do this. Sweet. All right. We got the ETH app installed. We got our firmware up to date. Now it should let us add an account. Everything's all up to date and good to go. All right. It wants us to open the Ethereum app. We'll go open that up. Sync up with our account. Right now, it's deriving the public wallet address that can be derived from the secret private keys inside the device. This is happening inside the device. This is not being shared with Ledger Live. So right now, Ledger Live is sharing only the public wallet address, which is perfectly safe to share. Your public wallet address, we'll go more into detail here in a minute. We'll add this account. Then we go to our accounts tab. And now you see we have this Ethereum account sitting right here. So if we go here and click on it and go to receive, we want to receive assets. Continue. We'll derive our public wallet address for Ethereum. This is our receive address. So this address right here is read and it is deposit only and read only. So with this address, you can see everything that's inside this account, and you can also deposit funds into the account, but you cannot transact funds out of the account with this address. Only the private key can do that. This is the public key right here. So then right now on your Nano, you have the option to go in and verify each character right there. The whole wallet address is right there. That's same as on the screen. So if you were trying to deposit funds from an exchange, like let's say you're trying to withdraw from Binance or Coinbase or one of the exchanges that you use onto your cold storage device, this is the address you would copy. You would copy this address, you would paste it into the recipient wallet address field for the exchange, and then once you submitted that transaction, it would get broadcasted to the blockchain and then confirmed, and then those funds will end up in this wallet address. One cool thing that I like to do, I always verify the address. It's good practice. There is pretty uncommon, honestly, I don't know if I've ever even actually seen it. There's been like suspected cases where this may have happened, but it's incredibly difficult to prove that this is actually what's happening. But it's called a clipboard hijack. And that's where a user will copy, right there, you see address copied. Anytime you Control-C, Control-V, copy-paste function on your computer, the information is temporarily stored on your clipboard, which is just a partition in your computer that stores that information for copy and paste. So now there is malware, there is a virus that can, they call it a clipboard hijack, where you copy information, but when you paste it, the virus actually makes you paste the information they want you to paste. So like if you don't verify your address and you just blindly copy it and then you paste it and you do have one of these viruses on your computer, you could potentially paste in the wallet address onto the exchange, and then it can send it to a totally different wallet address. Not super common, but it is something I like to bring up as a reason to motivate users to actually verify their address. And so what I like to do is I'll copy it from here and I'll leave this up in Ledger Live. Like I leave that up, and then I'll go over here to my browser and I'll go to, you know, Coinbase or wherever, whatever the exchange is, paste it in, and then you see the address is still up on the Nano because I haven't approved it or rejected it yet. So then after I paste the wallet address into the recipient field, then I'll go in and be like, okay, let's verify each character. Let's make sure. And I especially do this if I'm sending a large amount. Whenever sending a large amount of crypto, you should always verify. I know it's kind of tedious and it's a lot, but it kind of has to be this way, because if you make a mistake, there's usually nobody you can complain to. There's usually nothing anybody can do. Like I had a case one time where a user pasted in a wallet address and accidentally hit the backspace on the last character, and it was a 5, but the person thought it was an S and manually hit an S and then sent their funds to almost the same wallet address, but minus that last character was different. And that's it. Like that wallet address now owns that crypto. And so the only possible way to ever access that wallet is to have the private keys for it. And that user, of course, didn't have the private keys for that wallet. So permanent loss of funds from a very simple mistake. So definitely make sure that you are being very diligent whenever you're sending crypto back and forth between wallets. So yeah, I'll go ahead and just approve that. Put that back down. Okay. I think that pretty much covers all the stuff for like the setup and how to make an account, and hopefully a lot of really useful information that maybe filled in some knowledge gaps that some of you may have had or whatever. I see that both of our mods are pumping away with the questions. By the way, you have 2 really good mods right now. You got Quentin and you got Steven. Yeah, so it looks like they've been answering all your guys' questions. So that's super, super awesome. But yeah, I think that, let's see. Let me see if we have any more. Let's see. Like JKC is asking, let's see, I don't want to skip anybody, but I see a lot of blue mod activity. So, but I don't see down here saying, why can't the number of network confirmations be modified for XRP and settings account number of confirmations? So like when you're talking about confirmations for like when a transaction is going to be actually sent from one wallet to another, it usually requires a certain amount of confirmations on that network. That's not really something that anyone can control. That's not something that Ledger can control. Like that would have to be something that's a requirement of the XRP network, the Ripple network, and so they kind of dictate, you know, how that looks. So everyone else just kind of has to play by the rules. And same with like Bitcoin, Ethereum. It just they all have their own requirements. So it's not really something that can be like adjusted through settings because we don't own that network. We're just tourists. We're just using those networks. Excited for Ledger Stats. Our first order is still set to go out this summer. Yes, yeah, that is still the plan. Although I don't have an exact date, so I don't have more information for you on that. But yes, this summer. Mecha 360, yeah, no worries. Definitely, please rewatch the stream and also like it as well too. If you get any useful information on it from it. Cool. So looks like, I mean, we do have another 15 minutes technically with this stream. You know what? Since the mods are going in and answering questions, why don't I just show you some other cool stuff in Ledger Live? I'll use this 15 minutes to do a little demo of kind of how accounts work and stuff. I don't want to waste this time. You guys are here. I'm here. Why not? Let's do this. All right. Let's go back to Ledger Live. All right, cool. So you'll see here, I added this Ethereum 1 account in Ledger Live using this Nano that's still connected. Let me bear with me for a second. Let me pull out my actual work Nanos. I can show you some cool stuff here. All right. I'm going to, so this is one of the Nanos I use for work right here, my Nano S Plus. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this one. Now, remember, this Nano, you just saw me set it up with a recovery phrase. It's got its own unique recovery phrase stored in its memory right now. And then my work Nano has a completely different random recovery phrase saved in its memory. So both of these nanos have access to totally different crypto accounts. Let's see what happens. I'm actually, I do have funds on this nano, so I'm going to enter the PIN off the camera. Okay, got the PIN entered. So let's go here and let's add another Ethereum account, because I do have an Ethereum account on this nano. Here, so you can see it. Ethereum, open the Ethereum app. All right, I actually have a couple things to show you here. All right, some interesting stuff right here is happening. All right, so first off, this is the account that I'm going to import. So I'm gonna rename it so I know it's different than this account right here. Although it does have this balance right here. So you can see it automatically detected the balance. Now, because remember, this crypto right here, this ETH doesn't exist in my ledger. It doesn't exist in Ledger Live. It just exists on the blockchain. So right now, I added an account to Ledger Live, an Ethereum account that was derived from the recovery phrase in this nano. And then Ledger Live then shared the public wallet address with Ledger Live. Ledger Live was then able, this is all happening during that synchronization process that you were seeing. Then Ledger Live was able to reach out to the Ethereum blockchain and say, hey, what exists in this wallet right here, this wallet address that was just shared with me. And then they were able to pull in all the public information straight from the blockchain for that wallet address. And so that is actually what is happening when you're adding an account to Ledger Live. Your crypto never actually moves around between devices. Like it's super unintuitive. And so don't feel bad because when I first got into crypto, I thought that too. I'm like, oh, cool, I got this. In fact, I got a ledger before I got this job, and I'm like, oh, sweet, I got this ledger. It's got all my crypto in it. I got to keep it safe. And it's like even I didn't understand at the time, like it's not really about the nano. It's about the recovery phrase. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this account, but you can also see that I can also add another ETH account, Ethereum 2. And so the short answer to that is any recovery phrase can derive an unlimited amount of wallet addresses for pretty much any blockchain. And so right now, the reason that you didn't see this option to add another ETH account when I connected this nano is because the first ETH account wasn't funded. And you're going to see in a minute why Ledger Live does this. It's really just to keep things more simple for users to avoid like crazy confusion. So basically, the only way to add the next account that can be added from that recovery phrase is to fund the previous account. So if this Ethereum 2 account right here was also funded, like if I sent some of this ETH to this second ETH account right here, then I would have the option to add a third ETH account, and then same. And I can do that an unlimited amount of time. You can add as many different accounts as you want. Also, as many different accounts from as many different nanos as you want, which I'm going to show you here in a minute. So now we've got this ETH account right here, which also has some tokens in it. You can see I got a couple links, some Matic, and then we have this ETH account that's empty. So watch what happens. So now these are from two totally different nanos. Watch what happens if I try to access this Ethereum account from the nano that's currently connected. Let's say I go to receive, and immediately it's like, wait a minute, this public wallet address does not match up with what you're trying to share with me right now. And so clearly you don't have the right recovery phrase in this nano. And that's what this is saying. Something went wrong. Please check that your hardware wallet is set up with the recovery phrase or passphrase associated to the selected account. This is a difficult error message sometimes because some people may have like, oh man, I've had to help people that have a lot of different nanos, like 5, 6, up to like 8. I think 8 is the most that I've had to help people with, all with different recovery phrases, all with multiple accounts, and then they're constantly getting this error message because they forgot which nano belongs to which account, and it's just a whole mess. So for that reason, make sure to keep things straight if you're going to be doing this. I would go into this Ethereum account and I would give it a very unique name. So, let me show you how I did that. I just kind of blasted into that. So you can click on the account, and then you click on this little wrench icon in the top right corner, and it says edit account up there. And from there, you can change the name of the account. So I'll change this one to ETH-test, because I'm never going to use this account. I've already exposed the recovery phrase to all of you and anyone else that watches this video. So I don't ever want to deposit funds into this account, because honestly, it'll probably be gone like in minutes if I were to do that. Maybe not. Maybe not, because you know, I got a bunch of cool people with me here in this live stream, but like eventually someone will watch this video and be like, oh wow, let me just check that recovery phrase and see if there's anything on it. So I'm not going to deposit anything onto it. But yeah, so that's kind of like how accounts work in Ledger Live. Let's see. So we've got, oh, let me show you something else that's really cool too. Let's add a Polygon account. All right, so now we have to open the Polygon app. Doing the same thing, except on the Polygon network, not on the Ethereum network. And there it is, it takes my Matic. I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna say Matic-S plus, add that account in. Okay, so I've also got a token in this account, this DAI stablecoin right here. So basically, check this out. This is why I want to show you this, because Polygon is an EVM chain. It's not an Ethereum layer 2 chain. It is its own blockchain. However, it's based off of Ethereum, and EVM stands for Ethereum Virtual Machine. Many popular blockchains are EVM chains. Kronos, BNB, or Binance Smart Chain rather. Let's see what else. I always drop blank. There's so many of them, but like, yeah, Avalanche. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Either way, so you got, but what's cool about that is they actually will have the same wallet address. I said what's cool about that. What's confusing about that? Check it out. So if I were to want to derive my Polygon wallet address, let's go to receive here. So we got 0x2F8C, 08C1. Just kind of keep a mental note of that. We're going to go ahead and just approve that real quick. And then I go back here to my Ethereum account. And I go to receive that. Open the Ethereum app. And then we draw same exact wallet address, 0x2F8C and then 08C1 on the end there. And the reason I bring that up is because that can be very confusing. People would be like, oh, like I want to send Matic from my Coinbase account to Ledger Live, and I want it on the Polygon blockchain because it's Matic. It has lower gas fees. That's just where I want my Matic. But every time I try to withdraw Matic from Coinbase, it ends up in my Ethereum wallet. And it may look like this. Right there, look, I have Matic right here as a token inside my Ethereum account. And when you derive your wallet address, it's the exact same wallet address. So what's going on? Why is my Matic not showing up in my Polygon account? And the reason that happens is because when you withdraw from an exchange, you have to tell the exchange, there will usually always be a selection, unless that network's not supported by the exchange, but there will be a selection for which network do you want to withdraw over. And usually it just defaults on a specific network. Like for instance, crypto.com will almost always just default on Kronos. And so users will send tokens or coins, from their crypto.com account to Ledger, and it'll end up on the Kronos blockchain, which doesn't have great support. And then you have to use like MetaMask to recover them, and it's a whole thing. So you can save yourself a lot of, it's not impossible. If you ever send tokens over the wrong network, just reach out to us. We're all very good at this point at helping people recover those tokens, and we're more than happy to help you with that. But it's kind of a pain, and it's a little bit of a headache. And so yeah, so it can save you that headache, just understanding that, okay, these EVM chains are all going to share the same wallet address. I'm good with that. I just got to make sure if I want it in this specific account to choose that network when I withdraw from the exchange. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, I think that's pretty much Mods are still pumping away with the questions. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Very, very much appreciated. But yeah, I think that don't really have, I don't want to cut you guys short. Let me show you one more thing. All right. Let's go to the Discover tab. I was just talking about tokens on different networks, in different accounts, all over the place, super confusing. Let me show you a really cool app in the Discover tab of Ledger Live that can oftentimes help users make sense of this. So you go to the Discover tab. We're going to scroll down here. And we're going to find, right here, Zerion. By the way, there's a lot of really, really cool apps in the Discover tab. I definitely don't have time to get into, obviously, like what all these different ones do. But yeah, if you're ever like bored and you want to know like what more there is to Ledger Live, check out the Discover tab and just kind of see what's going on in here. We have like DEX aggregators where you can like swap on decentralized exchanges. We have a Binance app. If you have a Binance account, you can just buy crypto straight through the Binance app here and have it deposited directly into your accounts in Ledger Live. Same here with this one, this Stack and Satch. You can set up DCA for Bitcoin right here in this app. Again, deposited right into your Bitcoin account in Ledger Live. You don't even have to think about it. This is a more comprehensive NFT viewer right here, rainbow.me. We have tax services, POAP viewer right here. But the one we want to focus on right now is Zerion. So we go to the Zerion app, and I added the Polygon and the Ethereum account into Ledger Live. So let's continue. We're doing an external app. So what the Zerion app is it will detect tokens inside accounts, EVM accounts across different blockchains. So let me show you here. So yeah, so you can see like right here, it's detecting. I have a little bit of Ethereum right here on Arbitrum, the Arbitrum network right here. And I don't even have that account in Ledger Live, but Zerion is detecting it and showing me that I have that asset right here. Yeah, I actually have a pretty good amount. I actually kind of want to bridge that back over to my main Ethereum account right here. So yeah, so I can see that and be like, oh, cool. I got a little bit of funds here on this on the Arbitrum network that I would like to move back over to Ethereum. And the reason this is useful is because every once in a while there will be a token that is not supported in Ledger Live. Getting tokens to get support in Ledger Live, it's not the most complicated process, but it can take some time to happen. And so like sometimes users will like, get into a brand, like a good example is recently Pepe blew up and everyone was, super big on Pepe, but it was a brand new token and we had not had the chance to add that into Ledger Live yet. So people were sending Pepe to their ETH accounts and they're like, yo, I can't see my Pepe. And it's like, oh, we'll just use the Zerion app. It'll detect it. Even though Ledger Live can't detect it, the Zerion app will be able to detect it. And sure enough, that was helping people access that. I mean, since then, that specific token is now supported in Ledger Live. But if you ever do find yourself in that situation where you sent a token to your ETH account or your Polygon account or whatever EVM account, Binance Smart Chain, then you can actually use a Zerion app to recover it without using MetaMask in most cases. So yeah, that's I just wanted to show you that. It's and the reason I specifically called out Zerion is because like it's been the most useful. Like I think we have a help center article that shows you how to what I just did. Basically, it's a pretty simple one, but helpful. And I think I sent that to more people than like any other Help Center article. And this is like kind of a newer feature. It's so handy. It's so useful. But yeah, it looks like we are exactly at time right now. So I really, really appreciate you guys coming here and sticking with me to the end. I hope I was able to show you guys some cool stuff. And I hope that for those of you that came with questions, I hope that our outstanding mods are able to get those questions answered for you. Yeah, wow, Zerion. Yeah, Zerion is sweet. It's awesome. I use it. And I didn't even show you this, but you can also, now I'm definitely over time, but I want to show you, you can actually you can actually send right from Zerion. So if you do have like a token that isn't supported in Ledger Live and like you're not seeing it in your accounts tab, you can just like select it. And you can send it from right from here and just like say where you want to send it to, select what you want to send. Yeah, so it's a really cool dApp, really cool. Yeah, all right. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up for the day. Oh, this? Oh yeah, I had a dermatology appointment. It's nothing to be concerned about. We're good to go. I just don't want you to see the, yeah, just covering that up for you. Yeah, I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. I hope you had a great week. I think, yes, Monday I will be doing a Ask Me Anything series live stream. It'll be at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. After that, the European team will be taking Mondays back over, but next Monday will be the last time I do that. So yeah, if you have more questions, definitely come see me on Monday. We'll also have mods in the chat, so we'll hopefully be able to get your questions answered. And the Ask Me Anything series are really cool because it's focused just on answering questions for the customers, for the users. So I can actually like in most cases like actually show you things. Like if you're like, hey, I'm trying to connect to, like last week on Wednesday, someone was trying to stake their Polygon, and I was actually able to go in and stake some Polygon on the Polygon staking site and like connect my Nano to like MetaMask and stuff. So yeah, so definitely come in if you have questions like that, and we'll be more than happy to show you how to do these things. And then also on Wednesday, we'll be doing that as well. Yep. All right. So I think that's pretty much it. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend and stay safe. And